Hey everybody, welcome to Yarn Talk, where we bring you the latest knitting trends, news, and interviews with designers every 2 weeks.
And today we have an interview with designer Emma Welford, where we talk about her love of designing with lace and mesh.
I'm Leah, and in our trend segment today we're going to talk about knitting lace panels for warm weather.
But first up, we have some knitting that's been in the news this week. A man in New York City named Greg Clymer is making a short film. Doesn't sound particularly newsworthy, right? What's interesting, especially to us knitters, is that he's trying to knit an entire short film. So he is a fashion designer and a faculty member at Parsons School of Design. And a few years ago, Mr. Clymer had the idea for making a film that he knitted instead of just shot the video. And it took him a couple years to find a knitting factory to work with. That was step one. Because obviously as knitters, we know that hand knitting a bazillion frames to make a film is not the most practical thing in the world. Step one, once Mr. Clymer found the New Jersey factory he's working with, was figuring out how to translate film footage into a knitted object. The first thing was to figure out how many stitches the loom he was working with could accommodate. And so, kind of thinking in terms of gauge, he had to figure out how many pixels the film footage had and reconcile that with how many stitches the knitting loom had and match those up so they matched. Then the next step was to distill the colors, which with film can be a full spectrum of colors, particularly in the digital world. But when you're working with a knitting loom, the one that he was working with only can do 4 colors at a time. So he had to compress the pixels and the colors down to translate it into a knitted image. 18 months later, Mr. Clymer has a 19-second proof of concept clip. That's a New York City's block's length of scarf. So a ginormous scarf that has now been converted back into film to show that in fact you can make knitting into film footage. But now that Clymer knows that he can do this, he's hoping to make a 2 to 4 minute long short film. But as a knitwear designer, my math brain started going when I heard this story. If you think about it, even just for his proof of concept clip, which is 19 seconds, the average film rate is 24 frames per second. So 19 times 24 equals just over 450 discrete panels of knitting to create just the proof of concept. So if you multiply that, assuming my math and this guy's math and the factory's math all works out, a 2 to 4 minute film that's knitted would require between 1,440 and 2,880 separate panels of knitting to create. Now remember, that 19-second one was only 450 plus panels. So if you think of 1,000 and you think of the New York City block length for the 19 seconds, and then contemplate the thousands of frames version, that's kind of mind-boggling. I think it's safe to say that it'll be a couple years before we see the finished short film, but either way, knowing that this can be done is super fascinating.
Photo shoot for the Holla summer collection, I was lucky enough to wear this adorable little vest called Backbone by designer Kirsten, who goes by Clever Knits. It's a provisional cast-on, top-down, sweet A-line little vest with kind of an unusual construction, but it's fairly simple. And what really sold me on it was the detailing in the back. It can do optional color blocking, and it's just a really great way to spice up any little summer outfit you want to wear. You can find this pattern on Knits.com.
Designer crush is Emma Welford. Emma and I have actually been working together for years. She's had quite a few patterns published in my online magazine, Holla Knits, and her first ever garment pattern, Holla Back Tank, is even more popular today than it was when it was originally published in 2012. Hello, we're here with Emma Welford, one of my favorite designers. She is joining us to talk lace panels and mesh, because they are everywhere in the knitting world this summer. But Emma was designing with them years ago. Her Hollaback tank came out in 2012, and Just Beachy came out in 2013. And I'm just wondering, what made you jump on these design elements so early on?
I think I just got really lucky in terms of, you know, right time, right place, right instincts. Sorry, the cat decided to join the party.
Yay! We love kitty photo bombs.
So the Hollaback tank was my first garment design, actually, and the whole idea just came to me because I wanted to do something that was kind of young and flirty for summer, something that I would wear and that would make me excited to wear as I'm knitting it. And then Just Beachy was as I was starting to get more into the process of being a designer, and I responded really strongly to the submission mood board that you had put together, which included some peekaboo mesh elements. So I think really that was due to your skills as pinpointing the trend as an editor.
Well, I'll take that compliment for sure, but it's your own work on that made that design so great. And peekaboo lace panel, peekaboo lace and peekaboo mesh is really big now, and I'm so glad, and I think you had a lot to do with paving the way.
I would love to think so.
Okay, so what are you working on now that we're all going to be doing in 2 to 3 years?
That's a hard question to answer, because I definitely don't think that everybody is going to be designing collections based on historical sources of inspiration. That's probably just me and a select few others that find that interesting.
And you're actually referencing your Marie Antoinette collection that just came out, right?
Yep, yeah, and then the Knitscene collection I did, which was kind of around the theme of armor. So I definitely like incorporating my nerdiness into my designs, but on a more easier, just purely like fashion-based level, I'd say I've been playing a lot with cables, and that's something that always cycles in and out of fashion. And hopefully we can see some really cool, interesting textual cable knits a couple seasons from now that really play with putting big and little cables together, because that's something I've been enjoying.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that creates a lot of drama too, which I know that you do a lot in your designs. I see a tail whipping.
Yes, the tail has to be in the shot too.
Right, perfect. All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Emma. And your cat. What's your cat's name?
Kitsune.
Of course, Kitsune. Well, thank you both for joining us for Yarn Talk, and we will keep an eye on what you're working on next.
Thank you. It was great chatting.
A huge thank you to Emma for joining us for this week's Designer Crush. And be sure to check out Emma's designs at emmawelford.com and on her Ravelry page.
The Greco top by Courtney Spainhower is the cover pattern in the latest issue of Pom Pom Quarterly. It's another of many crop top patterns we're seeing this summer, but what makes this top special is its on-trend navy and white striping. The white stripes are knit in simple stockinette, and the navy stripes make use of alternating lace patterns for added visual interest and airiness. The top has a boat neck front and a dropped neckline at the back that's completed with an I-cord tie. The combination of the rope-like tie, navy and white striping, and linen cotton blend yarn evoke a nautical vibe, which is absolutely on point for summer.
Hey everybody! We are obsessed with lace knitting this summer, and there's a good reason for that. When it's hot, you always struggle with, what am I going to knit? Because you don't want like a giant sweater or a blanket on your lap all woolly and fuzzy. So what to do? You make something that's got holes, that's got lace, that's in a light fabric, and looks amazing.
Yeah, and it makes it easy too, because you don't want to be knitting something that you won't be able to wear for 9 months until it gets cold again. If you're working on something that's holey, hopefully you'll be able to knit it, or you'll be able to wear it soon after you get done knitting it.
Yeah. We're seeing a lot of lace panel designs in a lot of the magazines. Interweave Spring's got some lace panel designs.
Yeah, I'm holding Pom Pom Quarterly that just came out. You can see in the beautiful cover image has sections of lace and then
stripes.
Yep, stripes of lace. And Alcomar here is a full lace back, much like my interview we just had with Emma Welford. Her Holla back tank is one full lace panel back.
Another great thing is a lot of the yarns we like to work with in the summer, like linen and cotton, look beautiful in lace. So this also kind of works together in that way. It's also a really nice opportunity to play with lighter fabrics, maybe more color than you're used to working with in the winter. So it's a fun time to kind of get more playful and more flirty and more exciting with your color choices and everything with your lace knitting.
Yeah, there's a lot of accents that you can put in a lot of these designs that are coming out now. And you're in the sunshine, you don't have to, you can pick a neon, and we've seen neon a lot, and neon's starting to come out in more natural fibers as well.
Yeah.
So that would be a good opportunity to try something like that.
Embrace the brightness.
Embrace the brightness, embrace the lace. And
embrace the lace.
Embrace the lace.
Yeah.
And if you've never done lace before, something like this, a smaller project like this would be a good intro to lace for you too, especially since a lot of garments use a more simple lace project, a simpler lace, like it's not as challenging as those crazy big lace shawls that you're seeing everywhere that depend on so many stitch count changes,
lots of repeats.
Lots of repeats. This is just, a lot of the times, it's just the same, like a square. Like the back is just going to be a square with very little shaping.
Yeah, and this is one reason why lace panels are amazing too, is because you're getting that hint of lace, you're getting that airflow from the lace in your garment, but you don't have to commit to a giant, 200 stitch or something with many repeats. You can just do like a little section of lace, and then you have this beautiful garment to show for
and
it.
pair it with stockinette stitch or garter stitch, so you can concentrate a little bit on the lace, but then also have the stockinette stitch to take a little mind break.
Exactly. Yeah. Embrace the lace.
Embrace the lace. While I was digging through all of Emma Welford's designs for my Designer Crush segment, I came across her Eastbourne sweater, published in last fall's Knitscene. I remember absolutely flipping over this adorable little sweater with elbow-length, slightly puffed sleeves and beautiful chevron textured body, and seeing it on Emma's Ravelry page reminded me how much I can't wait to cast it on.